For the CSBN in partnership with Mason Local Sports Radio, it's the Weekly Preview with Matt Beebe and Alex Day.
Welcome to this week's edition of the Weekly Preview. Once again, this is Alex Day alongside Matt Beebe. The Comets are coming off a big win last week on senior night over the Lakota East Thunderhawks. This week we travel south to play the Princeton Vikings. Matt, go and tell us what the Vikings are all about.
Well, the Vikings aren't having the best season this year. They're 1-7, 1-4 in the GMC, which has them at 8th in the GMC. But they put up a fight against third-ranked Sycamore last week, losing 27-26 in OT. In the last play of the game, they went for 2 for the win. They didn't get it, so they could have very easily won that game. Despite their 1-7 record, they got a pretty good offensive attack, averaging 327.1 yards per game, which is 4th in the GMC. They're ranked 5th in both rushing and passing, averaging 227 rushing yards per game and 100.1 passing yards per game. On the defense side, they're a little shaky. They're 8th in GMC, allowing 375 yards per game. They allow 243.1 rushing yards and 131.9 passing yards. Let's take to the players to watch this year, this game.
Well, some players to watch this week are number 2 junior quarterback Tyrell Gilbert. He's their biggest offensive weapon, ranking 3rd in the GMC in passing with 781 yards, which is pretty significant as a high schooler. He's got a 44.4 completion percentage, 8 touchdowns and 4 interceptions. And he's also the team's leading rusher with 571 yards on the ground along with 8 touchdowns. So, once again, we're going to be dealing with a very athletic quarterback this week. And his favorite target, the senior, number 10, William Belvins. Gilbert's favorite target, leading the team with 20 receptions, 235 yards, and 3 touchdowns. So look for Gilbert to be looking for Blevins the whole night. On the defense side of the ball, number 4, senior defensive back Jelani Parrish, best defensive player, leading the team in tackles with 44.5 and 2 fumble recoveries. So kind of the ball hog. And finally, for the defensive side of the ball, number 11, junior outside linebacker Bryant Holloway. Great athlete, plays both ways. He's got 36.5 tackles, 2 sacks, and a forced fumble. So we're going to say that Bryant is the biggest threat to our run game this week. So we got to stay away from number 11 and make sure we always got a block on him. That's going to lead us into Beeb's keys.
Well, we got a few keys that are the same as last week. Number 1, our first keys, get the ball to Daryl Johnson. He's coming off a even bigger game than 2 weeks ago with 229 yards and 2 touchdowns. And Princeton is allowing 243 rushing yards per game, so he can have a really big game. The second key is defense needs to contain the quarterback, Tyrell Gilbert. He needs to contain his arm and can contain his legs, so if we can get the ball out of his hands, good things can happen. Number 3, get the ball to Adam Osika. He had a great game last week. He's only played 4 games at the wide receiver position, and he's already ranked 5th in the GMC with 318 receiving yards. And the fourth key is the Comets need to fight to stay alive. They have a chance at making it to the playoffs. They're currently ranked 7th, so if we can win out, we have a good chance of making the playoffs. Who knows what can happen, but we got to win out.
Yeah, like you said, we do have a pretty good chance of making the playoffs. We're ranked 7th in the city. But on top of that, in the computer rankings on joeidle.com, we're ranked, I believe, 15th. So we got to make that top 8. So we got to keep winning. We got to definitely win out in order to make the playoffs this year. That's going to lead us into our predictions. You know what? I'm saying this game's going to be closer than what some people think. Princeton with a record 1-7, they've got nothing to lose. So they're going to be throwing everything but the kitchen sink at us this week. They had a tight battle with Sycamore last week, as we said, who's very good. And their offensive attack and lack of defense could bode for a back-and-forth battle between the Comets and the Vikings. I'm going to say look for the Comets to pull away with the victory. Keep those playoff hopes alive. I'm saying 42-20 Comets.
All right, Al, I'm going to have to disagree with you a little bit. I'm going to say the Comets are going to ride the momentum from last week into this week, and our offense is going to destroy their defense, and Daryl Johnson's going to have another monster game, and the Comets are going to win 35-3.
Well, there you have it. We have our differences right there, but that's all right. We're still saying the Comets are going to come out on top. So we hope that you make the trip down to Princeton, but if you can't, be sure to tune in to us live around 7:20 on Friday night. We'll be broadcasting from Princeton High School on mason.localsportsradio.com. Once again, that's mason.localsportsradio.com. On behalf of Mason Local Sports Radio and the CSPN, this has been the Weekly Preview.